I am Kirsten Brewer with the Seniors Blue Book, and I'm thrilled today to have Judy Baxter, who is the Director of Sales and Marketing at Westchester Village in Lenexa, here today to talk to us and tell us more about the community there. Hi, Judy. Thanks for coming on today.
Hi, Kristen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. So why don't you just tell everyone who is watching about yourself and about your community and everything that they need to know about Westchester.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I'm a big Seniors Blue Book supporter. I recommend you often. So
Thank you.
Anyway, I am coming up on somewhere around 15 years in the industry, if you want to call it that, of senior living. And I got into it from a personal background, having been a caregiver and advocate for my mother-in-law. And after she passed, my husband looked at me and said, will you please go do something with your passion and the experience and information that you've gained? And so that was from a personal side, my entree into senior living. I have found my niche within senior living to be marketing and sales, and I really enjoy that. I feel that it's an honor to be a part of someone's journey, to help them kind of navigate through this transition in life, because there are so many great options. And I feel like the biggest part of my role is to help them become educated and navigate through all of those choices. So I love it. And I hope along the way they end up at Westchester, but if there's a better fit for them, then that's ultimately where they belong. So I have been here at Westchester almost 3 years, and I love our community. And kind of our marketing niche for our community is that we are a continuing care retirement community. So we are that CCRC that many people look for. And so we offer independent living, assisted living, and also healthcare, which includes short-term rehab and long-term care. So it is very easy to meet the needs of an individual, but also for that aging, the couples that want to age in place and have very diverse needs. We are a great option for those couples as well. So we are a CCRC, but where we differentiate from other CCRCs is that we are a monthly rental community, and we do not require any type of a large entrance deposit or buy-in or anything like that. So it is strictly a month-to-month rental with a 30-day termination. So that kind of puts us in a league of our own with other CCRCs. And then the third point I like people to be aware of is our size, because we have a total of 112 apartments and beds. So it breaks out 44 independent living apartments, 34 assisted living apartments, and then 34 beds in healthcare. So to me, it creates this ideal sized community that, we are large enough to be a CCRC and offer those levels of care, but we are still small enough to be personal and create that family atmosphere. And we're able to be very fluid in the care of our residents as their needs change and they need to go maybe from one level to another. So that is really, in a nutshell, kind of who we are and what I love about our community.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Judy, one of the things that kind of stuck out to me when you were talking is the CCRC model. I think a lot of people don't really understand, what that means, the continuum of care. Once somebody needs, a higher level of care, can they stay in that community, in your community? Can they go over into, rehab and then move back into their assisted living apartment? How does that work for those out there who aren't familiar?
Sure. So yes, using an independent living resident, for example, we have a variety of floor plans. And so say somebody maybe gets pneumonia and they end up in the hospital for 5 days. And the physician says, yep, you're good to go home. And the resident and their family members or spouse say, oh, no, mom's not back to her baseline. She's not back to where she had been before she got sick. So in a situation like that, a resident can then come into our rehab and get some rehab services if they've met all the Medicare requirements, which I am not an expert on, but the big thing is three nights of hospitalization is a big one. If someone qualifies then for a Medicare stay, they can actually come and be in our rehab and get their strength back, through rehab. And then upon that discharge, go back to independent living. If somebody has a broken bone and they need some additional rehab, they can do that. Another thing is whether they're an independent or assisted living, they can do Medicare Part B and get outpatient rehab through our rehab here. Which is a great service as well. Occasionally, and it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen occasionally, where somebody will come in and need assisted living, but they gain enough strength and improve so much that they're able to move out of assisted living and into independent living. Which is awesome when people are able to do that. So that is a great feeling, and we love to be a part of that. But it's very fluid as far as the movement of residents between independent living, assisted living, and healthcare. And sometimes those moves are short-term, depending upon the situation, and sometimes they are long-term. Usually couples are able to stay together, but occasionally if a need is so diverse, maybe one spouse will remain in independent living and possibly the other spouse go on to healthcare. But we have the staff that we can talk through all of those options and see what works best based upon the situation and needs.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So in the different levels of care in your community, what types of amenities do you all offer? What are the differences, say, between assisted and independent?
Sure. So one thing that really differentiates us among other CCRCs is because of our size, we are literally under one roof. So, that makes it really easy to go back and forth. But, in independent living, it's like living in an apartment, or sometimes residents will say it's like going to college and living in the dorm. Because you have your own apartment, you have your own kitchen, it is your own space, but you're able to open up your door and go down the hall and knock on somebody's door. And if you're baking brownies and you need an egg, well, you can go down, go next door to grab it from your neighbor, kind of thing. It's just that you're in a senior living community, so you share the space and the common areas in your meals with people of like age and like interest and like experiences, which is nice. Our independent living residents, many of them drive. We have a underground, completely enclosed parking garage. And so they come and they go, throughout COVID, they've come and gone, and it's been very easy for them to maintain their life and with their families and everything. So we provide 2 meals a day. We provide all the utilities, cable, internet, the parking, but just the security that they know that they have neighbors, and it's a safe community. Then as assisted living, I always say that just kind of gives you a few extra eyes and ears. So there you get 3 meals a day, you get medication management provided, shower assistance, and then housekeeping, laundry service, fresh linen service, flat linen service. So you get a little bit more in the way of services and just eyes and ears on the individual. And then healthcare is either short-term rehab or long-term care. And that's when you need more the total care kind of thing.
Okay, awesome. So you brought up COVID, so I'm going to ask about that next.
Yeah.
If a family's needing to move or they're interested in your community, are you giving tours right now with with COVID happening? How are you working with families right now interested in your community?
Sure. So we went through a period of only doing virtual tours. Now I'm able for independent living to do personal tours. Assisted living, because of the protocol and guidelines of the state and the county, we're still doing virtual tours for assisted living. But we're hoping, like everyone, that that's going to ease up sooner than later. So yeah, it's been an experience, been quite the year.
Yeah, I know, for everyone. So if somebody needed to move in right away, would they be able to do that right now, or is that something you have to wait on?
No, they could move in, and we work with families, you know, on a schedule for that, and helping them get moved in and settled, and making sure everybody's comfortable with that.
Okay.
I recently, like a week ago, did an independent living resident satisfaction survey, and overall, the gratitude and appreciation that was expressed by our residents to the community, to the team, their feelings of gratefulness, of appreciation, that, you know, how the pandemic was dealt with within our community, and just the sense of comfort and belonging that they as residents felt within the community throughout the pandemic. So
That's great.
it was really heartwarming, actually. So
Yeah, that's great, because it's just been scary for people and lonely
right.
and just crazy. So, well, that's nice to hear. Is there anything else, Judy, that you want to share about your community before we go?
We are just a great community. I would welcome the opportunity to visit with anybody. And like I said, I feel like the biggest part of my job is to help educate. So, you know, even if we aren't going to be the best fit, I'm happy to be a resource for people. But I do hope people decide to move here, because it's a great community. It's a lot of fun. So thank you, and feel free to reach out anytime.
All right. Thanks, Judy. I appreciate you talking with me today.
Okay, bye.
All right. Take care.